Hey guys, the moment we've all been waiting for is finally here. Selection Sunday, the 60-18 field was just announced a few hours ago, and let the bracketology begin. There's two playing games on Tuesday, two playing games on Wednesday, and then um, the tournament officially gets underway on Thursday at noon. Um, so as you can see here, I set up my bracket. I just named it as my username, and I set up a group, TPC Mooney 16s group. You guys can join the group, set up your brackets, and challenge me to see who comes out on top. So without further ado, let's get right to picks. So here in the East region, Villanova. Villanova was a #1 overall seed, obviously the defending national champs. Josh Hart was a Player of the Year candidate this year. If it were me, I would vote him as Player of the Year just because he's so good offensively and defensively. He won Big East Player of the Year, and he was co-defensive Player of the Year in the Big East. Villanova is a very efficient offense and defensive team. And they draw Wisconsin and Virginia Tech as the 8-9. Now, Wisconsin just played in the Big Ten championship earlier today. They lost to Michigan. Hard to believe that the selection committee seeded them as an 8 when they were the 2 seed in the Big Ten, I believe. Finished second in the Big Ten Conference. Ethan Happ, dominant post player. They got Bronson Koenig, Nigel Hayes. They're really good. Greg Gard, really good coach. Virginia Tech, pair of guards, Allen and Hill. Virginia Tech, obviously out of the ACC, they had big wins against Virginia, and they beat Duke earlier this season. It's tough. Virginia Tech likes to run. Wisconsin, very good defensive team. They like to play through Ethan Happ. I'm going to have to go with Wisconsin here. All these 8-9 matchups are always tough to call. Now, Virginia and UNC Wilmington. This will be my first upset pick. Virginia, good early in the season. They struggled down the stretch. They struggled to score. They play that pack line defense. London Parentes, he's their top scorer, but to me, he's not really a go-to scorer. He needs his teammates to kind of get him open shots. This UNC Wilmington team is good. They played last year. They played Duke in the first round, almost beat the Blue Devils in the first round. Keats is a very good coach. You know, they play 4 guards and a postman. They like to play fast, up-tempo, pressing-style offense. Denzel Ingram, he's a really good guard. So I'm going to take UNC Wilmington here as the 12-5. I think I heard someone say earlier that Virginia was 1-3 as a 5 seed against a 12 seed, so not too good for the Cavaliers. Florida, they lost to Vanderbilt, I think, in the SEC tournament a couple days ago. They had a great year. Obviously, they had that big win against Kentucky. They lost, I think, their main center to a knee injury. They've kind of struggled down the stretch. Mike White, really good coach. Kavon Allen. I think Eastern Tennessee can beat them, and I think that might be a trendy upset pick. But since I picked UNC Wilmington, I think I'm going to go Florida here. Then you got SMU plays the winner of Providence and USC. Tough game. I think SMU, I think USC will probably beat Providence in that opening round, in that playing game, but I really like SMU. They got Semi Ojeleye. You know, they play really good offense and defense. Sterling Brown, good point guard. I just think they've really been playing good. They beat Cincinnati earlier today in the American Conference Championship. They've been playing real well recently, so take the Mustangs there. Baylor has struggled down the stretch. I think they have 5 losses in February. New Mexico State's a good team too, but I'm gonna pick Baylor here, even though they tend to tend to get upset in these early round games. At least the last couple years they have. South Carolina Marquette. South Carolina is a really good team, and I liked them earlier in the season. They're another team, though, that struggles to score. And to me, in the tournament, you really got to be able to score, which is ironic because Marquette, very high scoring team. South Carolina's got Sindarius Thornwell. I think he was the SEC Player of the Year, or at least the leading scorer in the SEC this year. P.J. Dozier, Dwayne Notice is another good guard for South Carolina. This is really a toss-up to me. Frank Martin has got South Carolina playing pretty well, but they've kind of faded down the stretch. So I'm going to take Marquette, take Duke here, and then let's go over to the Midwest, Kansas to Kansas. 8-9, Miami, Michigan State. Tough game. Miami has played well in the last few weeks. In fact, I think they beat Duke a couple weeks ago in a close game. They played North Carolina tough a few days ago in the ACC tournament. Jaquan Newton, I think he's a senior. He's really good. Jim Larinaga, really good coach. I really like Jim Larinaga. It's tough. Michigan State had a tough year, but they've played pretty well down the stretch. They've had injuries. Aaron Harris is out with a season-ending injury. Miles Bridges, dominant freshman. He's a tough matchup, really, for anybody. I think I'm going to take the Hurricane here, though. Iowa State, Nevada. Nevada's a really good team out of the Mountain West. I think they may be a trendy pick. Iowa State is one of my big sleeper picks, though. They've played really well. Obviously, they won the Big 12 tournament yesterday. Monte Morris, really good point guard. Deontay Burton, he's a matchup nightmare. They got Naz Mitrou-Long, who was actually injured last year, I think, when they played, Virginia? I think they played Virginia in the Sweet 16, and Virginia beat them. So I'm going to take them. I think they're going to go pretty far in the tournament. Purdue, Vermont. Man, especially after last year, Purdue lost to Little Rock in the first round. Tough game. Biggie Swanigan, Caleb Swanigan, he's been a beast this year, double-double machine. I think he has like 23 double-doubles or something crazy like that. So they run their offense through him. They got him and Isaac Haas, who's like 7'2", big man. And they got Vince Edwards and Carson Edwards, really good guards. They could defend. Vermont's tough, though. Vermont riding a 21-game win streak. They just won the American East Conference Championship yesterday, and their team actually has the American East Conference Player of the Year, the Rookie of the Year, the Sixth Man of the Year, and the Defensive Player of the Year all on their roster. So they're really good, and I think they're primed for an upset. But Purdue had another great year. They're looking to get revenge after that early exit last year, so I'm going to take Purdue here. Creighton, Rhode Island. Obviously, Creighton lost Mo Watson for the year. Foster is a Kansas State transfer. He's been a beast. And Patton, I think Patton was the most improved player of the Big East. He's their postman. He's really good. But I don't know. I like this Rhode Island team. They beat Virginia Commonwealth in the Atlantic 10 Championship earlier today. A lot of heart. Their guards are really good, tough to match up with. So I'm going to take the upset here. I think Creighton, just without Mo Watson, is just not a complete team. Oregon, Iona, obviously the news coming in yesterday that Chris Boucher tore an ACL out for the year. They beat, who did they beat? Cal, I think, and then they lost last night to Arizona in the Pac-12 championship. Earlier this year, I mean, for most of the year, I was going to pick Oregon to go to the Final Four. They haven't been struggling, but without Chris Boucher, things are a little different. I mean, I'm going to take them in the first round, but I don't know how far they'll go. Michigan, Oklahoma State, very interesting game. Both really good offensive teams, really good shooting teams. Michigan, they were on an emotional run after their plane slid off the runway or whatever happened. I think on Tuesday or Wednesday when they were supposed to fly to the Big Ten tournament. And the coach, gave them, I think, the decision to either stay home and forfeit or take an early flight Thursday morning to D.C. Within a few hours of their first game. And they decided to go, and they were on a hot streak all the way through to the Big Ten Conference Tournament Championship. So I really like how they're playing. Although Oklahoma State, Juwan Evans, he's a beast. He's the real deal. And Carroll, I think they're the best offensive efficiency team in the nation. Let's see, where is Oklahoma State here? Oklahoma State, yeah. Number one adjusted offensive efficiency. So they're playing real well. I think I'm going to take Michigan, though. I think Michigan likes that kind of game. They can play big. They can play small. They like to run. They like an offensive style game. So I'm going to take them to beat Oklahoma State. Louisville. Now let's go down to the West. Gonzaga. Let's see, I'm going to take Gonzaga. Northwestern, what a story. Northwestern's first NCAA bid in school history. They've had a great year. McIntosh is really good. Scotty Lindsey, their two guards, they're really good. They've had an emotional year. They had a big celebration earlier when they were showing them on the selection show when they were announced to get in. And Vanderbilt's very good. They've been playing really good down the stretch. They got a lot of losses. Yeah, see, 15 losses. I think that's like the most losses ever for a team that made it into the tournament. But their strength of schedule is really high. 4-4 versus the top 25. Although I think 2 or 3 of those wins are against Florida, so I'll take that with a grain of salt. I think I'm going to take Northwestern to win this game. Chris Collins is a Coach K disciple. He's a really good coach. He's coached that team into the NCAA tournament. Notre Dame, Princeton. I think Notre Dame's too much offense for Princeton. West Virginia, yeah, they were snake bit last year when they faced Stephen F. Austin, who was on like a 25-game win streak. I don't really like their pressing style of play for the NCAA tournament. I just don't think it's a style that works in a tournament like this. But I think they get past Bucknell. We got Maryland here. Maryland, I think, is underrated. Melo Trimble, I'm not sure if he was up for the Big Ten Player of the Year or not, but he's the real deal. He's probably going to leave this year to go into the NBA draft. They got freshmen Justin Jackson and Anthony Cowan, both really good. Cowan backs up. Trimble plays kind of a point guard, allows Melo Trimble to play like off the ball or off the point, play more like a shooting guard. And Justin Jackson's a real good deep threat. He's like a stretch four, kind of a mismatch. Xavier lost Edmund Sumner, but Travion Blewett's pretty good. They got J.P. McCura, who's good. But I'm going to take Maryland here. Florida State, Florida Gulf Coast. Florida State really athletic. I think they got like 9 guys that are over 6 foot, that are 6'7" or taller. They went on that really good stretch in the middle of the season where they beat like 5 top 25 teams in a row, or 5 out of 6 games. They won. But I don't know. This Florida Gulf Coast team, Dunk City, they got good guards. They run, coached well. I think this Florida State team just, I don't know. I watched them play Notre Dame on Friday. The chemistry to me just isn't there. So I'm going to take the upset here. 14/3 Florida Gulf Coast. St. Mary's VCU. I really like VCU. Seniors Jaquan Lewis, Mo Alley Cox. Although they lost earlier today to Rhode Island, they're playing really well. I think they get it done against St. Mary's. And then Arizona, North Carolina over here. I really like Seton Hall. Kadeen Carrington's a really good guard. And Desi Rodriguez, Angel Delgado down low. They barely lost to Villanova on Friday. I think they lost by 2 points. So I'm going to take them over Arkansas. And here it is, Middle Tennessee, that 15 seed last year that upset Michigan State. They are back and ready. I have them as an upset over Minnesota. Wait, let me just get my charger. All right, sorry about that. So, Butler, Winthrop. Winthrop's had a good year, but I'm going to take Butler here. I think they're a good tournament team. Cincinnati plays the winner of Wake Forest and Kansas State. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how Wake Forest and Kansas State play in their playing game. I think they're both pretty good. I think they can both beat Cincinnati. I mean, Cincinnati's a really good defensive team. I actually think this is Cincinnati's best offensive team under Mick Cronin. Troy Copain, they got Kyle Washington, freshman post player. He's kind of a mismatch. Jacob Evans could shoot the 3 ball. So I'm going to take Cincinnati. UCLA, they should blow out Kent State. Wichita State, I think, was very underseeded. I think they'll beat Dayton, even though the Flyers are a really good scoring team. Scoochie Smith, a very good guard. Take Kentucky. Okay, now for the second round. Villanova, I think, is just too good on offense and defense for Wisconsin. UNC, Wilmington, and Florida. Tough game. UNC, Wilmington's got great guards. Florida also has great guards. I'm going to go, I'm going to take UNC Wilmington to the Sweet 16. Baylor and SMU, both Texas schools. I like SMU. I think their guards are better. I think they play better on defense. I think they can figure out the Baylor zone. Duke Marquette, Duke facing former Duke. Coach K facing former Duke assistant Wojciechowski. But I'm going to take the Blue Devils here. The Midwest, Kansas, Miami. Tough matchup for Miami. I think Kansas is just too much. Their guards are too good. Iowa State, Purdue. I think Purdue should win this game. I think they'll be able to deal with Swanigan and Haas down low. Their guards are better. Monte Morris and Michu Long. Oregon, Rhode Island. This is interesting. Oregon losing Boucher. Rhode Island's on a run. They're healthy now. They're playing, I think, the best ball of the season, best basketball of the season. But I'm going to take Oregon. Louisville, Michigan. This is very interesting. Michigan can really score. Louisville sometimes has trouble scoring, but I think the difference is going to be Donovan Mitchell. When Quentin Snyder went down with the injury, Donovan Mitchell stepped up and played at a first-team All-CC level. So I say Louisville survives the upset. Now Gonzaga, Northwestern. I'm going to take the Zags. I just think they're too good. Guards are too good. Shimmick, Karnowski. Northwestern will have no answer for him. Notre Dame, I think it's going to be too much for West Virginia. They have too much ability to score. Maryland, Florida Gulf Coast. Interesting. I mean, obviously, we all know the Florida Gulf Coast team of a few years ago that went on that run to the Sweet 16 as a 15 seed. Not so much here. I think Maryland is being overlooked a little bit. Melo Trimble. It's all about guard play, and I think Melo Trimble, Cowan, Justin Jackson, the guards they have, they'll be too much. And Arizona, VCU, I think Arizona should handle them. Arizona's playing as one of the best teams in the country right now. They won the Pac-12 tournament last night. They're playing really good right now, offensively and defensively. Then over here, I think North Carolina is too much for Seton Hall. Their bigs will neutralize Angel Delgado. Middle Tennessee, Butler. I think this is going to be my second double-digit seed into the Sweet 16. I'm going to take Middle Tennessee. Reggie Opshaw and Giddy Potts. They're just playing really well right now. And they're going to be really, really hard to beat. Obviously, they have the confidence from the win they got last year. So UCLA, Cincinnati. Cincinnati, very tough physical on defense, but I think UCLA is too much. Kentucky, Wichita State. This is a rematch of that second-round game. What was it, 2014, I think? Wichita State was undefeated. I think Kentucky gets the better of them once again. Now we have our Sweet 16 teams go back up to the East. Incredible run for UNC Wilmington, but I think Villanova ends it here. Duke, SMU, very interesting. Semi Ojeleye transferred from Duke to Southern Methodist, and he, I believe, was the American Conference Player of the Year this year. But I think Duke is just playing at an elite level right now. Jayshawn Tatum is, you just really can't match up with him, and he can take over games. And Luke Kennard, Grayson Allen, they have guards that can score. So I'll take them. Kansas, Iowa State. Iowa State beat them when they played in Allen Fieldhouse. That was Kansas. That ended Kansas' long home win streak. This is a tough game. I think Iowa State can beat them again. Louisville, Oregon. I think Louisville gets the better of Oregon, especially without that Chris Boucher coming off the bench. They're a little shorter off the bench. They're not as deep. Louisville's got a bunch of guards they can throw out there, so I'm going to take Louisville in that game. Go down to the West. Gonzaga, Notre Dame. I think this is where Gonzaga's season ends. Notre Dame, Bonzi Colson is a matchup nightmare, and I think the scoring ability, VJ Beacham, they got Steve Astoria, a lot of guys that can shoot and score, make their own shot. I think they'll take care of Gonzaga. Arizona, I think, is going to be too much for Maryland. Arizona just playing at too high of a level right now. Up here, NC is going to take care of Middle Tennessee. I think NC's too much for them. They're too big, too physical. Joel Berry playing at a high level. Justin Jackson playing at a high level. UCLA, Kentucky, a blue blood matchup, if that were to happen. I mean, Kentucky's been playing better. with De'Aaron Fox and Malik Monk. But I don't know. With Lonzo Ball and the culture that he's brought to UCLA and the ability they have to score, I think they get past Kentucky here. And now for our final four picks. Villanova Duke, this would be played at Madison Square Garden. What a game. Man, this is tough. Neither team really has a dominant big man, so that's kind of neutralized. I don't know. I think Villanova is a much better guarding team. Their guards are much better on defense. So that if they're not making shots, they'll have the ability to get stops on the other end that can lead into offense in transition. So I'm going to take Nova to go back to the Final Four. And then over here, Iowa State and Louisville. I'm going to keep this run going for Iowa State. I just think they're playing at a really high level. Steve Prohm has got them playing at their best basketball at the right time of the year. Down here, Arizona, I think, is too good for Notre Dame. Larry Markkinen, their freshman, he's like a Dirk Nowitzki-esque. I think he's going to be a matchup nightmare for Notre Dame. Alonzo Trier, he's been scoring like 20 plus per game the last 5 or 6 games. He's on a tear. So I'm going to take Arizona here. And then UNC UCLA. Wow. North Carolina just came up short last year, losing to Villanova. Man, UCLA, they got TJ Leaf, Thomas Welsh, Aaron Holiday, Isaac Hamilton. I think I'm going to have to go with the Bruins. Got to go with the offense here. I think sometimes North Carolina can go in a scoring slump. UCLA has been playing better defense. So I'm going to take UCLA. So we got a 1 seed, a 2 seed, a 5 seed, and a 3 seed. Villanova, Arizona, very interesting. I mean, Arizona's got a younger team. Villanova, a veteran team. Both teams won their conference championships, and both teams are playing well at the right time. I'm going to go with Villanova. I'm going to go with the defending national champs. I think they get it done. I think they go to Phoenix. They've been to the Final Four. A lot of the guys on their roster have been to the Final Four. They know what it feels like. And I think they get the win and go back to the national championship. And over here, I think UCLA's offense is just too much. A huge matchup for point guards. Talk about Monte Morris and Lonzo Ball. Both, I think, will be playing point guards in the NBA. But I don't think with the stretch guys that UCLA has and their shooting ability, I think they outlast Iowa State. And here we have our national championship game. Villanova, UCLA. Villanova back in the national championship game after winning last year. They look to become the first repeat national champion since Florida. And I think they get it. I think they do it. Villanova has been there. They know what it takes in a national championship to win. They know that your shots aren't going to fall, but they'll have the defense in the end. UCLA struggles on defense. Nova, very good defensive team. They're very efficient on offense. Josh Hart, he's a player that at the end of the game, you can give him the ball and he can make a play. And obviously, Chris Jenkins can hit a shot if you need it at the end. We all know what happened last year. So I'm going to take Villanova. There it is. Tiebreaker, let's see. What was it, 77-74 last year? I think for Villanova to beat UCLA, they're going to have to score more than that. Maybe not. I'm going to say, let's see, 72-68. Final score. And submit. All right, there it is. Villanova, national champion. You guys can find my group, TPC Mooney 16's group in the ESPN Tournament Challenge. Join, see how you fill out your bracket and see how you compare, see how you match up once the games get started on Thursday. So thanks for watching. Like, comment, or subscribe down below, and leave your comments. Let me know what you think. And it's showtime.